Would they accept to concede defeat? That's a good question. No. Dulcadir might. No, they won't. Dulcadir, I just need to wait for their ruler to die. New Splendor ability. Let's go with the +1 combat bonus in Terrain of Capital. So Toledo is our capital, Toledo is grasslands. So any battle that takes place in the grasslands will be of benefit to us. And I really shouldn't have given France access to Portugal. I hope they don't do too much damage to them. I know I can start Golden Era. Way too early for me to do that. Golden Era is the kind of thing you want to trigger during, for example, the League Wars. Because Golden Eras are a once per game thing. You want to time them. Why are we fighting this war? I was hoping for a quick war in which I could make a bunch of cash. Unfortunately, all of my lands are incredibly abortive and basically a military disaster each time. So now I'm just trying to piece them out for as little as possible. Which is proving to be problematic. Can I raise troops here? No. I'm wondering if I just want to get an extra 1,000 men and then just split them into 2,000 each. I think I am going to do that. Except for the fact I'd need to get them there and I don't have an extra transport. Never mind. It's fine. However, I can now repay another loan. Please do. I mean, eventually, if my economy fully recovers and I get the manpower for it, we can probably make another big attempt to go after the Mamelukes. And at that point, all of their allies will be out of the war, hopefully. How's my day gone? My day has been pretty short, seeing as I basically have breakfast and then start streaming. So, as to how my day has gone, I've spent most of it playing EU4, so I'd say that's a win. Arguin is about to finish. Now, here's the question. Once Arguin is done, do I want to start a colony going for Africa? Or do I want to devote all 3 colonists to the New World? I think I'm gonna have to go for the New World, because I want to beat Portugal to getting the Treaty of Tortillas here. Yeah, I think I need to do that. Ah, and we can do another one here. Prestige? Mercantilism? We could even go for the Holy See. Which gives advisor cost reduction. And tech cost. I hadn't realised about the advisor cost, that's interesting. In fact, you're a half price. I'm going to promote you. Unhappiness amongst the clergy. Differing opinions and interests over religious and secular matters between our government and the clergy are spilled over and become a significant source of conflict. So, clergy loses loyalty, we lose papal influence, and we gain prestige. Or we gain everything but lose prestige. I'm going to ignore their demands this time. And we will definitely need to spend this. France has 5. I have, what, 3? They've invested 20, so that would be 20 points. No, that's only twice. 10 points. I've never actually been the Papal Controller, so I'm curious about what this will do. Oh, they get increasingly expensive the more you do this. Interesting, didn't know that. But we now have a 28% chance of becoming the new courier controller, so we'll see what that does. Take the Aragon ports and cut Zaragoza from the islands. I would love to do that, except for the fact that I'm currently in another war. And that would force me to lift my blockade of the Mamelukes. Come on, Dolkadir. Peace out. The agenda of the Diet. The estates of Castile have proposed agendas for the summoned Diet. Favouring one of the estates here could have large benefits in the long term. Now, did that increase their influence? No. So summoning the Diet manually gives them the influence and the loyalty. Doing it automatically doesn't give you that. So we can build a manufactory in Alicante, which is definitely not happening. We can get manpower in Gibraltar, which just gives us a bit of manpower. Or we can get settler chance and settler increase for the Burkers. That one sounds awesome. Colonize or have subject Cape Verde, which is going to happen really soon. Wait, we already have Cape Verde. Oh, in the Cape Verde area. Oh, which is Arguin. Oh, we're doing that already. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to support the Burkers. Sweet. Oh, and actually, one other thing we can do is we can turn you into a trade company, which does mean that we're not going to earn as much trade power and sailors, but considering the autonomy here is going to be terrible anyway, and I have no intention of coring this, we're going to turn you into a trade company. This is going to give us more trade power. This reduces missionary strength, but it's already Catholic, so that's not relevant. And it will increase our naval force limit. So basically, trade companies are a way of exploiting the trade power of a province at the cost of taxes, manpower. And the other benefit of trade companies is it will allow you to build a bunch of extra things. So this will unlock the trade company investments. These are quite expensive. So I will warn you with that, but the bonuses can be particularly nice. So for example, you can get the local quarter, which increases defensiveness and supply limit. In fact, I'm just going to look at the more expensive one. So this upgrades into this. We can get the harbour, which is a local trade power boost. And once you have the upgraded version, it will also boost... Oh no, you don't even need the upgraded version. It will also boost everything in the entire area. So if you only owned, say, this one province, and somebody else owned Arguin, then you would get the benefits for the entire area. So having the harbour would boost production efficiency for that area, as well as giving you the local trade power. Local ventures, so the brokers exchange, would boost your production efficiency and also boost the local goods produced. Foreign influence would boost your tax modifier, so you would actually earn some tax income from here. But bear in mind, it is a trade company, so it will not earn that much taxes anyway, but this will reduce the development cost. And then governance, it will give you full manpower and full sailors, as if it were a regular province, as opposed to not. And then you can also get these top tier buildings. These are incredibly expensive, but tend to be national bonuses. You can only build one of these buildings of only one category of these top tier 1000 buildings in every charter. So in the Guinea charter, and if we switch to the colonial and trade map mode, you can see that the Guinea charter is everything here in blue. So we can only build one of those 1000 ducat buildings in the blue area. But they are national bonuses, like I said. So the officers' mess would increase your national land force limits by +5. Admiralty increases naval force limits. The Prosperity Appraiser increases trade steering by 50% in that area. Yearly Army Tradition plus 0.03. And it also boosts the trade value of the entire charter. Okay, so the Castile Township's actually really strong because of the trade value. That's for the entire charter. Doesn't matter if you own it or not. And if you're doing a lot of trade through here, it's a trade company, you're probably doing trade, then you can do that. And then finally you have the Governor General's Mansion, which is increasing your Marines force limit, which is one of the very few ways of getting Marines. And it will also reduce the minimum local autonomy. So ordinarily as a trade company, your maximum autonomy is 90%. Sorry, the minimum autonomy is 90%. However, with that, it would be 85, and there are other ways of reducing it to about 70. So if you did want to be getting tax and sailors and manpower out of your trade companies, then reducing the autonomy down would be a good thing. Or if you have territories as opposed to states out here, that would reduce that too. How do you create a trade company? You just need to add a province to the trade company, which is this button here. So if we look at Arguin, it would be that button. Now the other benefit, and this is actually what I would consider one of the biggest benefits, is if we go to the subjects, you will now notice that we have the Castile Guinea Company. And if you hover over the little merchant's shield, if you control at least 51% of the trade power in that region, you get a free merchant. So if you have 51% of the trade power in this node, and this node, and this node, and this node, and this node, that can really start to add up to a lot of free merchants, which can massively boost your trade ability and your ability to push trade around. And considering you're already controlling 50% of the trade value there, you're going to be shifting a lot of money around the world. So getting that control of the trade companies through the trade power, really, really, really powerful. And then you also have this interaction. This will increase your inflation by 0.03, but it will boost the trade company power in every province owned by that trade company by 50%. So if you need just that little bit of extra to push you over the edge, you can also get the promote investments that will cost you inflation. But if you have inflation reduction measures, or if you just want loads and loads of money from trade, then that button is really easy to just click on. 51% of the trade power from land. I thought it was from anything. It's from anything. Doesn't matter if it's land or not. What DLC are trade companies? Yes, I think they're Dharma. Yeah, it's just 51% of the node. It doesn't matter if it's land or sea. Where does it say province trade power? Oh yeah, province trade power does actually say that. Could have sworn I've done that with ships though. Yeah, okay. That's a lot harder to see how much of that territory you're controlling in that case. The other thing you can do, by the way, is if you click on the trade icon, so the trade node information tab, and then you press this button, it will assign every single province that's in that trade area to the trade company. So it's a very good way of like adding a bunch of islands or something that you've missed by doing that. Yeah, I'm fairly sure that used to be just trade, like total control, not provincial. So I'm kind of curious about that one. Currently control 0.7%, even though it says here 24%. And that's simply from the trade downstream because Seville, it feeds directly into Seville. So that might be why they changed it, to stop Castile just controlling everything. So that does mean that you need to control more of the land ground. But that's not, again, not that bad to do, because taking over the centres of trade will give you that kind of trade control of the provincial stuff, especially if you start to upgrade them. So it's more of a encouragement to upgrade them, to build marketplaces, to build trade depots, to build the plus trade power trade company building, whose name I've already forgotten. That guy. The company depot. And yes, trade company buildings have now been added to the macro builder. Is it in here? No. Here? No. Trade company investments. So you go to the state map mode and then trade company investments, and then you can build them from the macro builder, which is something I'm very happy they've added, because that was always a massive pain, especially to see exactly what is where. So there you go. Nice addition. Scotland has announced England as a new rival. I am somewhat surprised they can do that. And the Mamluks are building a lot of ships right now, including a couple of heavies, although mostly lights. Oh no, they've got 3 heavies now. So the Mamluks are trying to wrest control of the seas against us, which does not surprise me that much. We could go up in expansion ideas, which would get us exploration. It would also allow us to finish the Spanish Inquisition and get another merchant. But it leads to faster colonists, which I do want. But I also need to be aware of the fact that I'm going to be falling behind in admin if I do this too aggressively. But I think in this case, it's worth it. And now we have an extra merchant, so we need to start thinking about where we want to send them. And one obvious place would actually be the Ivory Coast. Because we control a quarter of the trade here, we would be shifting basically all of the money here into Seville. So that would be collecting all of this. So that's already 2.4 ducats, which is going to be more than Safi does. So yeah, let's do it. No, you're out of range. Never mind, we can't do that. At least I'm surprised we're out of range, considering we're in Cabo Verde. Oh, it's because it's not core. And trade companies can't be cores. So it's either making it into a territory, then a state, or making it into a trade company. Can't be both. And yeah, if you lose the 51% control, then you lose that merchant. So do be aware of that. If you're in a very competitive area, keep an eye on your merchants to see if they're appearing and disappearing. How about Caribbean? Can I reach the Caribbean? Not yet. So I think right now it probably does make the most sense to put them in Safi. Yeah. We'll transfer trade power in Safi. We'll probably move them later on. Okay, that's fine. So San Lucia is now producing fish. So this is one of those decisions that you can make. You can choose to abandon the colony in order to try and get a better trade good. But I'll be honest, I consider that a bit gamey, so we're not going to do it. A state produces what a state produces, or a province produces what a province produces. Plus it does also mean you need to build the settlement again from scratch, losing all 800 settlers. What's the biggest trade value node at the moment? 11, 20, 22. English Channel at the moment. Although I'd say that both Lubeck and Venice are in the running. Venice is actually pretty close. If Venice wasn't at war, it might be them. Holland tells us of faceting. Gems will now be produced in Antwerpen. Doesn't that usually happen in Constantinople? Now that's interesting. Gem cutting masters in Antwerp have made a breakthrough in diamond cutting by experimenting with diamond dust suspended in oil in their scapes. This is allowing the Dutch artisans to cut the rare stones to entirely new shapes into much greater brilliance. The resulting technique, known as faceting, produces a stone of more pleasing geometric shape and with a better optical qualities. As the new stones and the technique for making them spreads across the courts and workshops, the demand for the jewellery, diamonds and precious stones is increasing greatly. Man, that's a huge boost. Yes, it's usually there, but I've seen it in Aragon as well. Interesting. Because, yeah, I've only ever seen that in Constantinople. So it looks like Constantinople is stuck with glass rather than gems. And Antwerp, which is already like one of the most profitable regions in the game, has suddenly got even more profitable. Yikes. Okay. And it's owned by the Dutch, so it's going to be even more ridiculous. Family ties. For the past couple of days, we've been entertaining a guest from the royal court of Naples, the once home of the Queen Consort. After a full week of hunting, feasting, and gossiping with the family, Giovanna's cousin is finally preparing to return to Napoli. She assures us that she had a wonderful time and is, with deep bow of gratitude, that she says she'll make certain to inform everyone back home about how great the Kingdom of Castile has been to her. So we gain Diplo, and Naples likes us more. Cool. Can't say anything against that. Native uprising and Arguin. I do need to keep checking those in case they rise up over here. I do wish that Arguin would hurry up. Come on! I need to get to the New World. Sometimes it's Venice. Again, I've never seen Venice get it either. Establish a penal colony in San Lucia. Our colony in San Lucia has not been progressing as quickly as we would like. One of your advisors has, however, come up with a plan to speed up the growth. They're proposing that we send the thieves, debtors, and other criminals to San Lucia and have them pay their debts to society by working to develop the colony and eventually become settlers once their sentence is done. While this plan might seem good on paper, there is a chance rebellion may occur due to having all of these dangerous individuals in a central location. So it gains a massive boost to settler increase. And also unrest for 25 years. Or can't trust them, keep them in prison here. It sounds good, except for the fact that we're already at 850. Except it's going to be Catholic. And Catholic is super stable. Sounds good, set it up. No, natives cannot rise up when a colony is finished. The native segment basically disappears into the colony. That's how the assimilation works. So any natives that were present, so all of these 5,000 will become part of the Arguin colony, and they will basically convert into a 0.5 local goods produced bonus instead. When France finishes the war with Portugal, Portugal probably has no allies. They do. I'm allied to Portugal. Which is why I'm kind of regretting giving military access to France. I could have prevented this. Alright, Dulkadir, come on! Your ruler is incredibly stubborn. Not as stubborn as mine, admittedly, but still incredibly stubborn. I am definitely watching the Mameluke naval build-up with a bit of alarm. I really want to pay these loans off, then I can go to a more military footing and we can fight back. But until that point, repaying these loans is definitely my biggest priority. Venice, improve relations. Excellent. You know what, I'm going to start spying on the Mamelukes again, just so that I can keep the spy network up. Because the bigger your spy network with a country, the faster you siege down forts. And if we do decide to do a hostile move against them, I want to be able to siege their forts down quickly. How long's this war been going on? Since 88, so 12 years, 13 years. A while, in other words. France has made peace with Portugal. And we finished our estate agenda, so we have even more settler growth. Following terms, Portugal will be forced to give money to France. Portugal will pay money. Portugal will annul all treaties with England. Okay, that's actually really good. And they did not force them to annul treaties with me. And Arguin has just become self-sustaining. Awesome! That means that we can send another colonist to Martinique. I'm not trying to abandon, I'm trying to remove the colonist. Oh, you can't because they're minority expulsions. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realise that. Huh, okay. Well, we'll need to wait until San Vicente is done. That will also tell us about whether we do in fact lose the 2 development from Salamanca, which is now a 13 by the way, not a 12. And we can now convert Arguin, which we are going to do. And once it's converted, then we will turn it into a... What am I trying to say here? Once it's converted, then we'll turn it into a trade company. I don't have an available colonist. I absolutely don't. Which is why I was a little bit surprised. It's like, why can't I do this? When can you send a colonist to the mainland? I already can, but I'm in a bit of a struggle with Portugal right now for dominance over the Caribbean. So I want to be investing as heavily into the Caribbean as I can. Waving the white flag, Castile and the Charca tribes are rivals, something our conquistador didn't realise until too late. They both demanded tribute from the expedition to allow them passage. By offering one native chief gifts first, our conquistador insulted and angered the other. The gifts offered are not the chief's satisfaction, and warriors tried to take the expedition's provisions. The conquistador took a firm stand, and he, as second in command, brandished their swords and threatened violence. The chief backed down, and better gifts were presented to them both. Try to make them bury the hatchet. Both of them like us more. Or... Packer, yes, dislikes us, or we just say good work. I don't really care about making friends with them, so I'm just going to say, well done. And what else do I want to do? Do I want to build... more troops or more ships? I think I probably want to get up to about 10. Hang on. No, I don't. 6. We're only 4 years away from level 9. I think... Oh, this is dangerous. So here's the issue. If I let up my blockade of the Mamelukes, they will merge their ships together and they will beat me. And at that point I've lost naval superiority. So I think what I need to do is try to build a couple more galleys so I can at least get a little bit more control, although I am aware of how short I am in sailors. And then we're going to continue investing in paying off the loans. We're just going to start a bit of a military build-up, because once we've hit Miltech 9, I want to attack the Mamelukes. This war has gone on too long. Okay, Dol-Qadir just went down. Of course, because I'm building up my military, so the difference there is changing. The advantage is no longer them. Am I making sailors really slowly because of the blockades? In fact, the more ships that I allocate to the blockade, the slower it's going to go too. Currently getting 8 a month.